Whether profitable or unprofitable, $10,000 a month is a major milestone for all of us. In this video, I'm making a full breakdown to go where you are right now into making $10,000 a month from trading. I'm going to talk about what you need to achieve it, the exact plan to execute, how to manage the account, how to reach your final goal, along with all the mistakes that you can make along the way, because believe me, I have done them all. I've been trading for 6 years, I've received over 217 payouts, and I've made well over $1 million from trading ever since I started. And I've been close to giving up multiple times. After passing accounts and blowing them without any sort of payouts, after getting a small payout and then blowing the account. But one thing I knew, that there's a massive potential in trading. And that is exactly what I want to share with you right now. So let's get into it. So we're going to talk about multiple parts. So we're going to have step number 1, and this is actually going to be very important. We're going to talk about the execution, the management, and how to reach your end goal. Followed with a word of advice that I recommend you not missing out on. But let's start with what is most important. Now, the goal is to get to $10,000 per month. And so what a lot of traders do, and I think that this is a massive mistake, is that they think, okay, my goal is to make $10,000 per month, and I can risk $1,000 per trade. So I need 10% return per month. And this is a very flawed way of looking at it, because you're looking at what you have access to or what you believe you can have access to. And the next step would be, how can I get the 10%? And this is where you start entering in more trades than what was in your plan, because you want to get that bigger payout. Because have you ever blown an account because you were chasing that X thousand dollars of payout? Because if that did happen, it's because you are following this flow. You think, I want to get to $10,000 per month. I can risk $1,000 on this 100K account. So therefore I need to make 10% to get that $10,000 payout. And that is the wrong way to do it, because you are now thinking about the outcome, and that is going to make you force trades. And I know every single person has done it because I have done it. Now, the right way to go about it is that if your goal is $10,000 per month, you now ask yourself, what is the return that is actually realistic to me? Okay, my average return is going to be, let's say, 3% every single month. And if that is the case, then I need to risk $4,000 per trade in order to, with 3% return, be able to get $10,000 per month. And so now the final question is, how much assets under management do I need to be able to risk $4,000 per trade, to be able to have 3% average returns, to be able to get $10,000 per month? And this flow breaks everything down in realistic steps. You don't think about the outcome and then the process, you think about the process and then the outcome, because the outcome is second nature. You can't predict what the market is going to do. You can only predict what you are going to do by following your plan. And here's a quick example. I want to make $10,000 per month. So the next question is, how much can I realistically make every month on average? And this is going to give you a percentage. In this case, let's talk about 3% per month. How much would I have to risk? Plus or minus $4,000 per trade. And there's something coming that you might not be expecting. And this is very important. If risking conservatively 1% per trade, it requires $400,000 assets under management, right? This is pretty obvious. If you want to make $4,000 by risking 1%, then you need $400,000 to actually be able to risk the $4,000. But here's what you're not expecting. I want you to use a conservative management, because I don't want you to get there once and then fail. I want you to consistently hit those 10K per month. And so with the conservative management, you will actually require $1.2 million in assets under management. And now you might say, 3x? That is insane. But here's the thing. Here's what traders get wrong. They think that everything will go well. But the truth is that the market is going to humble you over and over again. Have you ever heard of everything that can go wrong will go wrong? I'm not saying it will, but I want you to be ready for it. You will not trade more than 1/3 of your accounts. And this is important. Do not trade more than 1/3 of your accounts when you are risking 1%. Why is that? It's because on futures, you have access to about 5% worth of drawdown, while on CFDs, you have about 10% worth of drawdown. So when you're risking 1%, you are actually risking 10 or 20% of what is available to you. And that's why I want you to 3x the assets under management that you believe you need. You will not trade more than 1/3 of your accounts. If you trade all of the accounts at once, you're at risk of losing all of your potential to make money. money. So yes, you might make $20,000 in a month, but then you lose everything, go back to challenges, which is spending money. So your goal is, I want to get to $10,000 per month, but depending on the risk management that you will follow, maybe you are only going to be there for 1 month. And that is not the goal. The goal is consistency. I would much rather, believe me, I would much rather you have $5,000 a month than have $10,000 every 2 months. I can tell you for a fact that you will be happier and it will be better for you and your trading to make a little bit less but do it consistently, especially because I don't want you to always have to go back to zero to the challenges and then spending money. And now you might say, well, Kimmel, with $1.2 million of assets under management, I can make $36,000 a month risking 1%. To which I reply, sure, go ahead and do it. And come back to me in 6 months and let me know how it worked out for you. Because if you're here to learn, remember, I have received over 217 payouts and I've been prop trading for so long. Every single person that didn't follow this advice came back to me and told me that it was actually the right advice because they had to go back to the challenges without making as much money as they thought that they were going to make. So now that we've got the part 1 out of the way, which is the mindset, which is incredibly important, let's go into part 2, which is the execution. Now, let's start with the reality. Right now, I'm going to jump a few steps that you know that you need to achieve, such as having a profitable edge. If you do not have a profitable edge right now, then getting to 10K a month is impossible, right? Now, if you want a profitable edge, then check the first link in the description to see exactly how I trade. Now, afterwards, you need to understand risk management. I have multiple videos on prop firm risk management. There's a video in the top right corner. In the description, I'm also going to link my full guide to prop firm risk management, and you need to have money to put into prop firms. So the start here is going to be going for a $100,000 challenge or multiple 50K challenges if we're talking about futures. And one of the things that you will see is that we are always going to follow this cycle. You're going to do challenges, you're going to get funded, then you're going to receive a payout, then you're going to get your money back, and then you're going to go back to the challenge. And this is the cycle that we are going to use to pretty much take you upstream on assets under management and money that you're making per month. And that is what is important. I'm not going to give you the holy grail. This takes time. Anything worth it in life takes time. And this is not going to be different. So step 1 is going to be get a 100K account or multiple $50,000 futures accounts. Step number 2 is going to be get $100,000 in active funding. And what you want to do is you want to mark down the costs involved in getting the funded, which means challenge prices and activation fees. So let's say that you spent $1,000 to get the active funding to $100,000, then you want to mark this down. Why is that? Because you want to get at least one payout. Ideally, this payout is actually getting you your money back. The reason this step is here and not just go straight to $1 million in funding is because I want you to balance paying money to prop firms and the art of getting paid by prop firms. And this is very important. Then step number 4 is going to be scaling. And by the way, all of these steps is what I still do to this day every single time that I'm scaling my funding or scaling the amount of payouts that I want to receive. Now with the step 4 of scaling, your focus should go from getting paid to scaling one more account or a few more accounts. Only trade one type of account at a time. And that means that if today you are trading challenges, I don't recommend you trading funded accounts today. It's because they require different mindsets, especially when we're trying to get to that 10K per month. So only do one at a time, as a funded account and a challenge account require different mindsets at this stage. Because since you're also starting to get paid, you can now start entering in more aggressive trades so you spend less time on challenges and more time on funded accounts, because the goal is to scale the amount of funding we have, so less time on challenges, and the amount of money that we're getting paid by increasing the assets under management. And step 5 is the cycle that we just talked about. So you go do the challenge, then you get funded, then you get a payout. Ideally, you get the money from the challenges back, and then you go back to the challenge. And And by this point, your funded account is stopped until you pass that next challenge, which once you're scaling and once you start getting payouts, shouldn't really be taking you more than a week or two. And some of you might find that statement insane, but here's the truth. Once you get to $10,000 worth of payouts every single month, you will understand that it becomes a money in, money out kind of game. But obviously, you need to be profitable. And therefore, if you are not profitable yet, then make sure to check the first link in the description for Funded Trading Blueprint, which is the system that I trade to get multiple payouts every single month. So now that you know how to think about the system and how we're going to execute on it, the next thing is going to be the management of the challenges and the management of the funded accounts. And what I like to do with challenges is I like to focus on one prop firm at a time. Right now, I'm max allocated with Funded Next, which you can get the best discount code when you use code Kimmel. And then I would go into Funded Next futures, and only then would I think outside of it, like think about an FTMO, think about a Topstep, think about an Apex. But either way, if you want great challenges and great payout policy, then check out Funded Next with the link in the description, and code Kimmel always gets you the best discount code. Part 3 is going to be the management. Now, on the challenges, once you start receiving your first payouts, you can start by being more aggressive on challenges. For example, risking 2 to 3% on CFDs and 2% on futures challenges, or entering in more aggressive trades. And as a reminder, this whole system is only for profitable traders. None of this is financial advice. 99% of traders lose. And if you do not have a profitable edge, you should not be trying to do this. Your focus and your investment should be going into finding a profitable edge, which if you're interested in, then check the first link in the description. Now, funded accounts. This is when you start stacking. And in CFDs, you're going to be trading one at a time. This is what I call my OAT system. And in futures, you're going to be trading clusters. So what does that mean? So on CFDs, what you're going to do is you're going to start with one funded account. Then you're going to be risking 1%, or you're just going to use good risk management. And once you profit, this account now goes on hold until you are able to get your payout. And if you have all of your accounts with a payout locked in, then what you're going to do is you're going to be trading the challenges. It's the cycle that we talk about. And then you're going to have two, and then you're going to have a payout locked in here and a payout locked in here, and you go into challenges. That is what my OATS system is. And then you're just going to be stacking the number of CFD accounts you have, and you'll notice that by no time, you'll be having a payout locked in here, 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 and all of a sudden you see, oh my God, I have $10,000 of payouts locked in. I can't believe I've just made my goal. And this is something that happened to me multiple times, and it brought me back to reality of thinking a couple of years ago, I would have dreamed of this. And this is the best system for you to follow. Now, if you do this, beware of inactivity rules. But most CFD prop firms have 30 days of inactivity rules. With futures, then what you're going to do is you're going to trade clusters. So just like on CFDs, but let's say that you have 8 accounts, what you're going to do is you're going to trade 2 at a time. You're going to copy them 2 at a time. And a lot of traders ask me, well, Kimmel, then how am I able to then know when I have to go back to challenges? Once you can lock in a payout within these 2 accounts, your next step is going to the challenges. And then once you pass more challenges, you add them and you trade the cluster again. Why do we trade clusters and not all of the time? Because I don't want you to lose all of this and now you have to go back to challenges and get funded again. And if you do this, beware of inactivity rules. There's prop firms that have 30 days, there's prop firms that have 7 days on futures. So now that we know the mindset we need to have, the execution required, and the management that we're going to use, the one thing that is missing is getting to that end goal. Because now that we have enough assets under management, which is on step 3, you'll be trading in clusters, both in CFDs and in futures. And now you just need to think back to your goal. Okay, 10K a month, and risk enough on 1/3 of your accounts to get there with your strategy. And here's an example on how to do it on CFDs. Instead of trading one at a time, you are now going to be trading clusters on CFDs. Copy trading instead of in just one account, doing it on 3 accounts. So if you're going to risk $1,000 on one of the accounts, you can actually risk $1,000 on 3 of the accounts, and now you have $3,000 worth of risk per trade that you take. And if you blow these accounts, it doesn't matter because you have all of the other clusters that you can execute on. And this is the only way for you to be safe in doing this. Now, in futures, it's going to be the same thing, but you are very likely going to be doing it with more accounts. Just keep in mind the magic number of 1/3 of your accounts maximum that you are going to be trading. Just make sure to trade the clusters, copy trade them in order to be able to reach your goal by risking it on 1/3 of your accounts. And I want to finish off this video with a word of advice. Anything worth having takes time. I know I didn't just tell you right now what is the fastest way of getting there, because do you know what the fastest way of getting there is? Is having $50,000 at your disposal to just put into challenges, get $2 to $3 million worth of funding, blow so many accounts, and now you're $50,000 deep, and then you only get your money back after 5 months of making $10,000 a month. And the truth is, you won't make $10,000 next month from now. Right? This is a project that you can work on this year, and it won't be linear. Trading growth is very exponential, because you know that if you're profitable right now, it was a long time where you struggled to find trading profitability, but then your profits just absolutely skyrocket, and it's never going to be linear. Progression in anything worth it is very likely to not be linear and very likely to be exponential. Why? Because anything worth having takes time. And so with that, if you want to see the exact risk management that I use in order to reach all of this goal, then make sure to check out this video right here. And if you want to check out the best prop firm, then check out FundNext right here. With code KML gets you up to 50% off.